Hello everyone, today we are taking a look at Dobble Connect. This is the brand new version of Dobble. On the channel before we've looked at the anniversary edition 360 and now effectively this is Dobble meets Connect 4. Let's jump into how you play and then I'll give you the pros and cons to let you know if you should add it to your collection, and just know Asmodee sent it to me for the review. The rules and how to play Dobble Connect don't stray too far from the classic experience. There is going to be a starting card in the middle, and when everyone's ready you say go and you pick up one from your pile and see what is the matching symbol between it and the card in the middle of the table. Now every card has a match with every other card, but just one symbol, which makes it really hard because you're like, I can't see any matches, and then finally you see the sunglasses that are on both cards. When you do that, you are going to shout out that you've got a match, verify it, and put it down. Unlike in normal Dobble, where you'd maybe collect that as a point or something like that, this time you're putting it down onto the table, next to, touching it on one of the sides, next to that one that you've matched with. Now, everyone can match to both of the cards. You're effectively trying to play a row of 4 of your cards in a straight line. So when someone gets to 2 or 3, you're no longer looking over the other side of the table trying to match something. You're looking at either end, trying to make sure they don't get a 4th one in the row. And that's giving you the normal stressed vibes and fast, frantic Dobble action that you're used to, because you are just always trying to find a match. But sometimes a match with any of them, and sometimes I really need to block this area, so I need to find something that specifically matches with this card. The other twist is it's not quite a one and done experience like normal Dobble. In this, you get the 4 and you think, well, hey, I've won, and you could end there, but there's actually like a championship mode where you take that middle starting black edged tile, you flip it over and it gives you a trophy. And depending on the number of players, you're going to want to get a number of those. So let's say at 2 players, you need to get 5 of those trophies to win. So you go again and you see who does it in the next round. The added twist is that whenever you win, there's going to be some of your opponent's tiles, those cards, added to your deck and shuffled in. So at times you'll actually be turning over a card and realising it's one of your opponents, and all of a sudden you don't want to match it over here because you might give them an easier win. It's just something that makes it a little bit harder and gives the other player an advantage in the next round. You go until one player has got the appropriate number of those trophies, and then they are crowned the winner. There is also a team mode where it allows you to play with more players. This effectively sees 2 people or even 3 people looking at that sort of top card and helping to match. The gameplay otherwise is completely the same. You're just potentially working with a partner to try and place your cards down quick enough. So you know how to play the game now, but should you be adding it to your collection? Let's start off with the biggest pro, is that it's still Dobble. I know that sounds an odd thing, but the classic Dobble gameplay is just fast, frantic, brilliant, sort of family-friendly fun, and it goes down really well with everyone. You can teach it in seconds and people instantly know what they're supposed to do, even if they're stuck looking at the card going, I can't see a match anywhere, but there is always one. So the fact that they've not strayed too far from that, but still giving this new twist, is a really good thing. And that twist, that Connect 4 on the table in front of you, I think works really well. Again, super intuitive, super obvious, people know exactly how Connect sort of style games work, and as it grows out across the table, it's really obvious, like, oh, they've got 2 in a row, 3 in a row, they're getting close, I need to stop them. Just like in Connect 4, where you're like, oh, they've got a row of 3 here, I better not just let them put a 4th one down there, because they'll win. So that sort of hones in the sort of, your vision of, oh, I need to block that over there, or I've got 3, I need to match over here, because otherwise you've potentially got this sprawling number of cards, and it would be so much to try and take in. But actually it does draw your focus into different directions once a few cards have been played. So even though there's loads of cards on the table, which means a lot of symbols, you're often still trying to only match with 2 or 3 maximum at a time to get that advantage, get that win for that round, or block your opponent. Blocking your opponent might come across as a little bit sort of, aggressive, but it's not. It's done in a very sort of family-friendly sort of, well, Connect 4 way. You know they're going to win, so you do want to try and stop them, and you get that sort of like, yes, I've blocked them, or ah, no, they've blocked me sort of feeling. It never really feels personal. You know why they're doing it, because you were about to win and they had to do something to stop you. Sometimes you get on a roll with, just like in normal Dobble, where you're like, oh, it's this symbol, it's the smiley face, it's the peace symbol, it's the deck chair, and you just go through a load because for some reason your brain spots those symbols that match perfectly and you just go through a load of cards. You can get that in this. There's been games where I'd placed 4 before my opponent had placed 1 card, so I've won. There's also been a game where I had one of my opponent's cards and I was so focused on trying to place it quickly, I placed it and gave them a run of 4. So I literally handed them the victory in that round. But I liked that, and that was a really hilarious thing. Once I'd realised, I literally slammed it down and went, no, because I'd realised that split second too late that it wasn't one of my cards. And you can tell that because they're denoted around the edge in a colour. As I mentioned, you can play the game in teams or you can play it where everyone is individual. Now, if you do want to play it like that, the game does only go up to 4 players, despite it saying the 2 to 8 players on the box. The 8 players, you'd then need 4 teams of 2, so you can play with more than 4, but if you all want to do your own gameplay, your own spotting, then you have got that sort of maximum of 4. It's an interesting thing. I think maybe it should be mentioned a little more, but everyone just tries to put the biggest sort of player range on the box, and it therefore says 2 to 8. But just know it's 2 to 4 unless you play in teams that then allow it up to 8 players. But there you have it. Overall, I really have enjoyed Dobble Connect. I think it'll get to the table a bit more than the Dobble 360, but maybe slightly less than just classic Dobble. I think it adds a really cool twist though, and a really intuitive twist as well. Whether every time you'll want to play with sort of collect all those trophies, or you're just going to want to play around and say, right, who's won this game? Let's go again. I'm not sure, but you have that option. You can just play a few rounds and have counted each as an individual victory. You don't necessarily need to sort of combine them as per the rules to do a big overall winner. It is that fast, fun gameplay that you get from Dobble with just an extra split second of choice of which one am I going to try and match to, and then stare at them until I find that symbol that matches, because crikey, sometimes you'll look at something and your opponent will have played many different cards and you're still stuck there going, I will find this match, because something does. Then they say they've won the round and you're sat there thinking, right, just give me a minute, I need to find this match before we move on. But it's all that classic good Dobbleness. Spot it if you're in America. I think a lot of people are going to enjoy Dobble Connect. If you didn't like Dobble though, this probably won't reinvigorate the experience enough for you. But otherwise, fantastic little game, Dobble Connect. Hopefully this has helped you know if it's going to be a game for you or not, should you be adding it to your collection. And well, until next time, have a dobbling good day.